1 Kings chapter 18. It came to pass many days later, in the 3rd year, the word of the Lord came to Elijah, saying, Go and appear to Ahab, and I will send rain on the earth. So Elijah went and appeared to Ahab, and there was a severe famine in Samaria. Then Ahab called Obadiah, who was in charge of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. For when Jezebel massacred the prophets of the Lord, Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them, 50 to a cave, and fed them with bread and water. So Ahab said to Obadiah, Let us go into the land, to the springs of water and brooks. Perhaps we will find grass to keep the horses and mules alive, so none of the livestock dies. So, to explore it, they divided the path between them. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. Now, Obadiah was alone on his way, and Elijah came alone to meet him. Obadiah quickly fell on his face in Elijah's presence and said, My lord Elijah, is that you? Elijah replied, It is I. Go tell your master, Behold, Elijah is here. So Obadiah said, What sin did I commit for you to give me, your servant, into the hand of Ahab to put me to death? As the Lord your God lives, there is not a nation or kingdom where my master is not sent to hunt you. If they said, He is not here, then he set fire to the kingdom and its territories because he did not find you. So now you say to me, Go, tell your master, Behold, Elijah is here. But if I do so, it shall come to pass, when I leave you, the Spirit of the Lord shall carry you to a land I do not know. Moreover, when I go and report this to Ahab, he will kill me. Yet your servant fears the Lord from his youth. Was it not reported to you, my Lord, as to what I did when Jezebel killed the prophets of the Lord? How I hid 100 men of the Lord's prophets, 50 to a cave, and fed them with bread and water? But now you say to me, Go, tell your master, Behold, Elijah is here, but he will kill me. Then Elijah said, As the Lord of hosts lives before whom I stand, today I will appear to him. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him. And Ahab ran out and went to meet Elijah. When Ahab saw Elijah, Ahab said to him, Are you the one who is troubling Israel? Elijah answered, I have not troubled Israel, but rather you and the house of your father, and that you forsook the Lord your God and followed after the Baals. Now therefore send and gather all Israel to me on Mount Carmel, the 450 prophets of shame, and the 400 prophets of the sacred groves who eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab went back to Israel and gathered all the prophets on Mount Carmel. Then Elijah came near to all of them and said, How long will we be undecided between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, follow him. But the people did not answer. Then Elijah said to the people, I alone remain as a prophet of the Lord, but there are 450 men who are prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of the sacred groves. Let them give us 2 oxen. Then let them choose 1 bull for themselves, to be cut into pieces and laid on the wood, but they shall not light a fire under it. I will prepare the other bull and lay it on the wood, and I will not light a fire under it. Then you will call loudly on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord my God. So it shall come to pass that the God who answers by fire, he is God. So all the people answered and said, The word you have spoken is good. Then Elijah said to the prophets of shame, Choose 1 calf for yourselves and prepare it, for there are many of you. Then call on the name of your God, but do not put fire to the wood under it. So they took a calf and prepared it and called on the name of Baal from morning until noon, saying, Hear us, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, for no one answered, and they ran about the altar they had made. Then it came to pass at noon that Elijah the Tishbite mocked them and said, Cry out with a loud voice, for he is a god. For either he is away meditating, or he is too busy, or preoccupied with other business. Perhaps he is sleeping and has no need to be awakened, and has need to be awakened from his nap. So they cried aloud and cut themselves with knives and lances, as is their custom, until blood gushes forth. They prophesied until early evening, until the appointed time to offer the evening sacrifice. But even still, there was no voice. Finally, Elijah the Tishbite spoke to the prophets of the idols, saying, Now remove yourselves from this place, for I will offer my whole burnt offering. And they turned away and departed. Then Elijah said to the people, Come near me. So all the people came near to him. Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of Israel, for the Lord said, Israel shall be your name. Then he built an altar with the stones in the name of the Lord, and he repaired the altar of sacrifice that was scattered about. And around the altar he made a furrow, holding 2 measures of seed. He piled the firewood on the altar he had made, divided the whole burnt offering, laid it on the firewood, and laid it in order on the altar. Then he said, Bring me 4 pots of water, and pour it on the whole burnt offering, and pour it on the unlit firewood. They did so. Again, Elijah said, Do it a second time. So they did it again. Again, he said, Do it a third time. So they did it a third time. And the water ran all about the altar, and even the furrow became filled with water. After this, Elijah cried out to heaven and said, O Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, answer me. O Lord, answer me this day with fire, and let this people know you are the God of Israel, and I am your servant. And for your sake I do all these works. Hear me, O Lord. Hear me with fire, and let these people know you are the Lord God, so as to turn the heart of this people back. Then fire fell from the Lord out of the heaven and consumed the whole burnt offering, the firewood, and the water in the furrow. The fire also licked up the stones and the soil. So all the people fell on their faces, and they said, Truly the Lord is God. He is God. Elijah then said to the people, Seize the prophets of Baal. Let not one of them escape. So they seized them. And Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon, where he slaughtered them. After this, Elijah said to Ahab, Go up and eat and drink, for there is a sound of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and drink, but Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, where he bowed down on the ground and put his face between his knees. He said to his servant, Go up and look toward the sea. So the servant went up and looked and said, There is nothing. Then Elijah said, Go again 7 times, and return to me 7 times. So it came to pass that on the 7th time he said, Behold, a little cloud like the footprint of a man, bringing up water. So Elijah said, Go up, say to Ahab, Make ready your chariot and get down from here before the rain overcomes you. Thus it came to pass that the sky darkened with black clouds and wind, and there was a heavy downpour of rain. But Ahab mourned and went to Jezreel. Then the hand of the Lord came upon Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran ahead of Ahab as far as Jezreel.